nerds, and welcome to The Gutter. This is episode 27 of the second season of the Gutter Nerds podcast. This is the second to last podcast of season 2. My name is Steve-O. Joining me today is the lovely Nerdez.
Hello.
Over here is Corporate Cal. And at the end is Bree.
She's so far from me. Look at her.
Sorry.
She went opposite directions from you today.
She was just like, I'm gonna.
I kept getting close to you, and then I would watch myself get away, and I don't know why. I even told him at one point, I was like, let me center myself, and I did, button. And then I was like, why? I guess I'm just over here now. Whatever.
I get it. No,
I'm still learning how to work stuff, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
We have a lot to cover today. So what you all been playing? Sarah, what have you been playing?
I've been playing The Sims.
Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
And I have been playing... What else have I been playing? Why am I blanking?
Because we had a lot going on this weekend.
We've had a lot going on this weekend, too.
Oh, last week you and I played Super Monkey Ball and Mario Kart.
We did Super Monkey Ball, Mario Kart, PUBG. I've been playing a little bit of Little Nightmares again. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Little Nightmares.
That's a good
really
game.
Cute.
Yeah, the game's good.
I love that game.
It's like
so
cute
much.
and creepy. It's like a weird
That's how I
combination.
felt about Limbo too, though.
Yeah.
Have you played it before?
Yeah.
It's the best.
It is. And I feel like Limbo and Inside Out are the same way.
See, that and the string one, like the yarn one, that's
Unraveled.
Oh, Unraveled.
that
Yes.
Steve-O and I are playing right now. Those are right up my alley. Those are my favorite game situation.
Oh,
yeah, they're
2P
cute.
chair games.
Yes.
Welcome, Trexus and Gracie. Some of you are noticing that you might be VIPs now in our chat. So
Hey, Diamond.
we had a conversation. So mods can't be VIPs. The mods are mods. But VIPs are people that we want to recognize as being especially important in our chat. People who have either kept chat going, subscribed a bunch, shared a bunch of our stuff. Anybody that has helped us get where we are will be VIP status. And so if you guys feel like someone is deserving of VIP status and they don't have a diamond by their name, let me know.
Well, Gracie, I hope you like a shower because I think you're awesome.
I have a funny.
Yes.
She
is awesome. I love Gracie.
I have a good idea for next time. Just wait.
What about you, Cal? What have you been playing, buddy?
I've been playing a little bit of League of Legends Season 9 pre-season. It makes me want to ram my head through the wall.
Oh my god.
But it's, they...
So gruesome.
Oh, yeah. They changed
Is it really that bad?
Oh, man. Because everybody doesn't give a fuck right now. Oh. It's this is one thing about what Riot Games does. They're like, we're going to have 12 months? We're going to have 9 months out of the year and have a ranked season.
Yeah.
A full ranked season, go to Worlds, have that somewhere epic, and have a big party about it. And then we're going to change the entire stat and runes for you. And then we're just not going to give a fuck for 2 months. We don't care what you do.
So this is the nobody gives a fuck
2 months
stage?
This is because it's all your rank doesn't matter right now. Nothing matters. So everybody's just trolling. It is legit garbage.
God, the League of Legends community sucks so
Oh,
bad.
that's what we were talking about.
It's so bad.
I was just because I'm this guy's I don't normally play ranked, but I'm playing ADC right now. Don't flame me. And we're all you're playing ranked, and you're playing an ADC. What are you doing?
He's playing a different video game while playing League of Legends?
No. He's playing a position in League. But,
okay.
So
I thought you were playing Assassin's Creed. Because I'm playing Assassin's Creed while I'm here.
But that
man is skilled.
No, but it's the thing of people playing a ranked. There's two versions of the game, of course. You have the draft pick, which is unranked, and you have the ranked version where you're actually trying to climb. And these are people who don't play that and are just getting in there and just dicking around. Just make you want to hate yourself.
What about you, Bree? What have you been playing?
I still been playing Red Dead Redemption, and I tried Red Dead Online. That was chill.
Yeah, my brother beat it.
Oh yeah, no. I'm too busy with finals.
How do you feel? How do you feel about online? I mentioned this earlier, but some people have referred to it as unfinished.
It's okay. Well, I mean, it is a beta. That's why I don't really want to use those words because it's a beta. But
I've asked this before. I'll ask it again, just because this is something that I read, and I haven't played it, so I want to know. People that have played it, you played it a little bit or just watched it?
Nope, just watch it.
Okay. Does the shooting suck? Is it a shitty shooting mechanic?
I wouldn't say it is. I like Rockstar's shooting mechanic. They have the little dot. It never changes.
Yeah.
Because even in LA Noire, it was the little dot.
Okay.
And then sometimes it will just automatically go to that person, but sometimes
if you aim, it'll just sort of snap to the person. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it'll just snap to the person that you want.
Yeah.
Sometimes it won't, but normally it does. And no, the online's a little different though. But I will say, if you're really good at the shooting through the story, it's easy to kill people on online.
Right.
But it's really fun. Yeah. It's just, the money's really hard to earn. Like, it just takes a really long time.
Gamble.
So I feel like with Red Dead and GTA Online and even like Ark, there are some weekends where they'll give you like double money or double XP or something.
Yeah.
And when they do that, I feel like the game is worth playing. Like when we played Ark and we were getting double XP, I was like, oh, this makes the game fucking fun. This should be this like standard, or at least they should make this a little more, because right now it's so stingy with giving you XP and money and stuff that you play for 4 hours, you know, to get like, you know, $200,000.
No, you don't even get that in Red Dead Redemption. You get $50. Oh, yeah. You play 3 hours and you get $50.
This is Old West money.
That's a lot of money in Wild West.
But
3 teeth can get you a beer in the Old West.
They up the prices of everything when you get online. So like a gun is $269. I'm not gonna get that with just $50. Like, oh, it so sucks.
Rob people.
Grace says, "Psst, Nerdez, I love your shoes."
Oh,
show them off, flash your toes.
And Shark says they're amazing as well.
Here they are.
So today we're going to talk about balancing streaming and relationships. And it's not just streaming. It's sort of any time-intensive hobby you have, be it cosplay, gaming, and your relationship doesn't necessarily have to be with your SO. It can be with your family or your best friend or your roommate or somebody, you know. And one thing that I want to point out, just like before we start, is that when you're in a relationship with anybody, whether it's your family or significant other, whatever, it's good to know what fills their love meter, right?
Oh, yeah,
because not everybody's love meters feel the same way, and some people call this the love languages thing. But I've in my experience, and maybe it's not the same for everybody, but it really, that putting it in those terms really helps, because this kind of discussion is going to focus on quality time people. So if you're the kind of person that does not need a lot of quality time with your significant other, if you can do your own thing and they do their own thing and you meet up once or twice a week and you're good and happy and fulfilled, and that's great. You probably don't have, you know...
That's why I'm sad and alone, Steven. Why I'm sad, because
I wasn't going to ask.
Because I fulfill my own needs.
You fulfill all of your own needs.
All of my own needs.
You're the perfect sustained...
I am sustained, perfect man. Thank you.
People who are quality time, and this was something actually, I don't think that he will have any problem with me telling this story. Will, who used to be on the podcast, he came to me once and he was like, I hang out with my girlfriend at the time. Her name was also Bree. I hang out with Bree all the time, but she's telling me she needs more time with me. And that doesn't compute in my head because I see her all the time. And I said, you have a branding problem. You can spend the same amount of time with her, but you just have to let her know that's time you've set aside for her. Because if you spend 3 hours with her watching Netflix, but you haven't communicated, hey, this is the time I've set aside for you, what would you like to do? She sort of feels like you could get up and go at any minute because you haven't devoted that time, so it's not going to feel quality. So when that is something to keep in mind, is to, if you have someone who is a quality time person, let them know that you're setting aside time for them. That's what fills their love meter. So in that sense, keeping that in mind, one of the reasons that we wanted to talk about this today is because it's something that you and I have directly dealt with, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So do you want to start with a little bit of like our personal situation, like how we...
Our personal situation.
Yeah. So I guess, did it really become... So Sarah and I have come into like some conflict in terms of the streaming and the scheduling and all that kind of thing.
Right.
She's like we mentioned, she's a very quality time person. And it's not that quality time means nothing to me, but what makes me feel loved is someone saying nice shit to me. So if she calls me or texts me and it's like, you're awesome and I love you, I'm good for like the day. Like that sets me, right? But she likes quality time. So was it before I moved in or about the time I moved in?
That we started having conflict?
Yeah.
Well, whenever before you moved in, well, I don't know. It's hard to say because I think that it probably is about the time you moved in, simply because at that time is when you decided you'd always been serious about streaming, but that's when you decided that you really wanted to like up it, I guess. And so that's when you started doing more shows and
right, going
more
from like
streams
2
during
shows
the
a week to wanting to do like 4 or 5.
Yeah, or even more
Yeah.
than that sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think probably about the time you moved in with me is about that time that you also upped the amount of streaming and everything you were doing. So it was probably in that time frame, yeah.
Okay. And jumping into chat, the gaming and any hobby can, if it's time intensive, can pull you away from other things. And Shark mentions communication constantly. Trexus says, I'll just say I've cooked and eaten dinner more times alone than is appropriate because Mr. Trexus couldn't put down the controller.
That's cute.
And Veloz Dotus says, I eat dinner alone all the time because Mrs. Dotus can't be bothered to exist.
I'm with you.
Colin's like, I'm there.
I'm high-fiving you from across the room.
That alone part was important. Oh, Trexus.
So for us, and we have some stuff that we'll show you later on, but for me and you personally, it was having, so you knew how important it was to me that not just that I spent a lot of time hobbying, but that trying to invest in something to grow over time to be a significant source of income at some point, hopefully, would require that amount of like dedication and time, on top of which, was something that I love to do.
Well, at the same time, the way I see it with you, Stephen, is it's like, if you do make income on something, that's fine, but that's not really what you're actually about it. You're more passionate about it. And she noticed, in my eyes, that you've had a passion for it. So it's more, and you want, that is a long-term maybe goal, but it's more the fact that it's actually where your heart is.
Just a passion.
It's more of that you have a passion towards it, and if it leads to something else, that's how I view it. It's a little bit different. Does that sound a little bit more right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Dota says, I don't stream, but trying to balance his career and relationship is difficult. Absolutely. And you can apply these things to your career as well. Obviously, if you're working, that's a thing you pretty much need to do to survive, right?
Yeah.
You have to have, generally speaking, you work.
That corner gets busy.
Huh?
The corner.
The corner?
Where you work gets busy.
He's just saying.
The corner of
the street, the road. I work in a building.
No, I work in a building.
Y'all are not I was talking about Steven, not you ladies.
Oh, well, he works in a building too.
I know.
He works in a building.
Y'all aren't taking my joke.
No, I'm sorry.
All right.
I was like, is there 2 streets that I'm supposed, is there an intersection?
Like you work on the street like a whore?
Oh, you were calling me a hooker.
Wow!
We were on the point.
I know, we were.
And then you acted like we didn't know what was going on.
No, I said you ladies. That's why I said you ladies don't. Steven does. See?
Okay.
It took a while to get there, Steven. Come on.
Let's just be clear. More times than appropriate, in quote unquote, is 2. I would say that is probably accurate.
Anyways, Steven,
got 2 jobs. It's really hard to meet people when you're flying. Totally understand that. And hello, Mirage Leonardo.
Hello.
Well, my day consists of sleeping until noon, trying to find something interesting to read on Facebook besides memes. If there's nothing interesting, then I mute my phone and game for about 3 hours, then I eat something, take a nap, wake up, eat dinner, go to bed. That's
nice.
a good. That's a hell of a day.
Solid
Schedule. That's solid. So when I wanted to up my streaming, so like Nerdez knew that it was either I considered it a time investment, sort of a part-time job in a way, but also let's just say it was pure passion. Let's just say it wasn't even like which you're not wrong. Like it definitely is. Like I get a lot out of streaming. Like my life, it feels fulfilled. But what was important for us was twofold. One, setting a set schedule. Like it's just not both for us time and for stream time. Because if you don't have that set schedule and calendar, like here's what I'm thinking. She's like, I would like more than one night a week to see you. So night streams can be maxed at 3, essentially. I mean, obviously, if we're like, we want to play Smash or something, like we do it, But generally speaking, we set, like, she lets me know where her limit is. Like, I am comfortable with this. And if I want to stream more, so I added a couple of morning shows because she was working and I could do that, and that doesn't detract from any us time.
Yeah.
So you can plan and schedule with and around each other. But on top of that, you do have to make sure that when I do spend time, like I mentioned, the quality time thing earlier,
right? I
have to let her know. I have to typically let you know, right? Like if I'm just walk in on a Tuesday night and we sit and do stuff and then go to bed, you may or may not feel fulfilled. But if I begin the night with, tonight is about us, so what do you want to do? you could say, we need to cook and watch Netflix.
Yeah.
But if you know that my mind is here with you on that night, I'm not thinking about other shit, I'm not half-assing and half there.
Right.
Well, another thing with our relationship specifically is that, Steve-O is always thinking about streaming and podcasting and all the shows and everything.
I need a mouse for that.
Which is great, and I fully support, and I love Gutter Nerds. I love being a part of Gutter Nerds.
Yeah.
But I was finding that in our, on date nights or just stuff in general, he wouldn't seem fully present because he was always thinking about the next thing or planning.
So when I was hanging out with her, my brain wasn't present.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
so he would always seem like he was distracted or thinking about something else, but really it was just he was thinking about the streams and what he has to edit, what he has to post when, what he has to, all of that stuff.
Jumping into chat real quick, now Sama says, my ex-husband actually had a lot of problem with any form of gaming I did. He was extremely obtrusive with it. He kept commenting that it felt like he was letting me be stolen from him, so he repeatedly tried to just change my own hobby for what he liked. Let's make a quick point here.
Yeah.
Someone is not needy for wanting quality time with you, but someone who demands you not do your hobby is intrusive. So there is a meter, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is inappropriate. If you're not allowed to do the thing you like to do because that person is so insecure
That person's trying to
that
change you.
anytime you're not with them, they're worried about what it is you're doing, then that's not okay.
That's not okay.
JB says scheduling has been a big help for me too. It gives me allocated time to use however I wish, and when I use my me time to spend with Alicia, I would even argue that it makes it more meaningful to her. But in general, a functioning schedule helps each person essentially take time for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing that has helped us is I have, one of the worries you had was he's going to put the stream before me or put the stream before important events in our life. And so we have, I think, on multiple occasions proven that when something comes up, if it's her mom's birthday, of course I'm going to postpone or cancel a stream.
Yeah.
If we can move it to another night, great. If not, then I'm not.
There's more days in the year.
So what's important for me to let you guys know is that, in general, if you have a quality time significant other or someone in your family that you're balancing, let them know that they are not as a priority and your priority. So, in general, your significant other can be your number one priority. That doesn't mean that every moment of every day they are the top priority. Sometimes your work will have to come first in certain instances, depending on the situation. And sometimes your hobby will come first, or yourself will come first, your me time. But the overall scale needs to be,
But I think it's so important, like you were saying, family members' birthdays or people that you really care about, their birthdays or your best friend's birthday. I just think it's so important that, yes, streaming is your hobby or whatever your hobby is, or maybe your work is your hobby, that still taking the time to, prioritize that other person, whether it be just showing up to their birthday party or being able to reschedule something or, whatever the case might be, I think is so important, just so you're letting them know, even if they're not a quality time person, just that, what's going on in their life is also important. And sometimes it's so easy to get kind of caught up in our own schedule and worlds that we forget. I think, at least for me, I forget sometimes to, text my friend that I haven't talked to in a while, a simple how have you been, or, whatever the case might be, because I'm always on go and I'm always, what's next and all this stuff.
So a couple things, and then I want to get y'all's input. And we have some questions and stuff to go over as well, because Bree, you cosplay.
Yeah, I definitely.
That is a time-intensive, because you do a lot of setup, right?
I know, we both do. We do a lot of stuff. I'm a very busy person, to be honest.
And Fernando does YouTubing and stuff, and that takes a lot of time as well.
So I'm really interested to hear your.
It is really boring.
One thing that I will say is that it's one of the actually help Haldane gave me a couple years ago. Actually, I asked him just on a one-on-one. I said, how do you make it work? And he said, involve the other person. So make sure she's involved. She feels a part of it. And even if she doesn't want to do it with you, she has to know the door is always open. If she wants to come be on a podcast or be on a stream, if she can decline as much as she wants or not feel it, but she's always I'm not boxing her out.
Yeah.
Because you cannot do your time-intensive hobby without support, even if they're not a part of it. And this is something that JB mentioned with Alicia being good at. She's not much of a gamer. She's not going to spend a lot of time doing that with him.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't at least support and appreciate that it makes him happy, then he's not going to be able to.
There's going to be a little bit of a rift.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and you guys can go into as much or as little detail as you want. Have you come into conflict with someone that was wanting more of your time and you were wanting to hobby or something more, and how did you balance it and figure that out?
I didn't start hobbying until like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Like, I really didn't get into it until I met my boyfriend.
Okay.
Like, he was real into it. He was real into YouTube. He was rapping. He was like the number 10 person in Fort Worth. Like, he was so into it. And I was so fascinated because I had never met someone so passionate like that. And I was like, wow, I just think it's so amazing that this is what you want to do with your life. And it's so great. And I'm passionate about school. And it's never been a thing of, I need to put you first. We agree that we want to be successful together.
Yeah.
Right.
We agreed that I want to see you do well and you want to see me do well. So
Right.
I'm never gonna, and it's nothing towards him and he knows that, but I don't ever really put him first. I put school first.
Right.
And he doesn't ever, like, he puts me first, but YouTube is first. Like, I'm usually the one to remind him, like, hey, aren't you recording today?
But
Or, like,
you're
other
and his
things
goals
like
are
that.
aligned in that.
Yeah.
In that, like, you are like career and school
Yes.
oriented, and he's like YouTube
Yeah.
oriented, and you guys can support each other.
Yeah.
But you were open about that from the get-go.
Yeah, we were
You
never,
weren't
like-
all in, and then he started being like, look, I'm going to hang out with you half as much as I used to because
Yeah.
I actually YouTube a lot.
Yeah, no, he's never been
Right.
like that. It's never been like that. Like, we have fully supported each other all the way. Like, even when I was like, hey, I think I want to start cosplaying, and he was like, you know what, I wondered why you never did. Like, you love anime so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe I should. And so, like, I did because of him. Like, a lot of the stuff I do is because of him. But, like, I will say, I have a hard time managing myself. I don't have a hard time managing him. Like, I have a lot of things to do. Like, I have school Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I work Thursday to Sunday, 10-hour days, and then I'm at school for about 8 hours.
Jesus
So-
Christ, and you do the podcast on top of
And I do
that.
the podcast on Mondays. So it's like Mondays are school and podcast. Tuesdays are literally my self-love days.
Okay.
My boyfriend's at work. I can do whatever I want. And
Balancing
also,
hobby and self-care is actually an important thing, too. That's
because
something that Sarah
Tuesdays
mentioned.
are also, it's like half the day is self-love and cleaning my house, and then cosplay.
Yeah.
And then I go back to being busy. And then Wednesday, half the day I'm off, and then I got to go to school. And then Thursday till Sunday, I'm at work. And then when I come home from work, I got to do homework. And it's just like, I'm busy. And then I also have other things I like to do. Like, I love to draw so much. Like, that is what I love to do. So then I'll draw for a little bit, or I'll even take my sketchbook to work, because sometimes I have ideas at work and then I need to sketch. Like, it's gotten to the point where I'm anxious without my sketchbook.
Right.
And then if I come home, then I'll be like, hey, I want to play a little bit of Red Dead, or I want to play a little bit of this. And that's all I can do. Like, everyone's like, oh, I already beat Red Dead. I'm like, that's like a 120-hour game. I'm like,
gonna be a while
48%.
there for
like,
sure.
I know that it's going to take me a while to beat, but I've tried to set time for myself.
Right.
Like, we don't ever have an issue with each other. Like, we are pretty devoted.
You've never had a time then that you've been like, hey, I haven't seen you and I'd like to, or he's said, hey, I haven't seen you and I'd like to, and the other person been like, I can't, I'm doing.
Not really. If he did, he would be like, hey, come with us. Or he'd be like, hey, come with
involving the other person,
like,
right?
he involved me no matter what, and I involved him no matter what. We never had but I'm also a really chill person. I prefer to be at home. I prefer to be alone. Like, I'm fine. I don't need someone with me all the time. I'm used to being by myself, and not in a bad way.
Right.
But
just,
like, and also like, if
you do everything you need to do to make yourself happy, and Fernanda was there to support that.
There was a long time when I didn't.
Right.
There was a very long time in my life where I didn't for 4 years, and you
relied on someone else to make you happy.
To make me happy.
Right.
And then I realized I don't need that other person. I'm fine by myself. Or like, my family was there, so I would just be with my family. So like, if he's doing something, like Sundays are recording days for him.
Yeah.
Totally fine. If he's doing it, then I'll just be there, or I'll just go hang out with my mom, or I'll go hang out with someone else. It's never been really an issue for us. Like,
That's
That's fantastic.
if anything, cleaning is an issue. Like, I just need the things to be cleaned. But other than that, we have fully always supported each other.
Trexas says relationship goals. loves the encouragement. Shark says, love it, Bree. Theo says, sounds familiar, Gracie. And Gracie says, I still haven't found out the self-love, but school and work is all I do, so I feel this. And I do encourage everyone, like, everyone, you can't
Self-love takes a while, though. I will say from experience.
You know, in an airplane,
yeah,
when they tell you to put on, you affix your own mask before you assist the child.
Yeah.
It's because you're no good to anyone dead. You can't serve from an empty plate, right?
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
So if you're worn out and stressed and everything, you're not giving a good version of yourself to your partner.
Yeah.
So if you need to, like, hey, today I need to do my own thing. I need to sleep.
Yeah.
I need to game or shut down or read or
I
have to
I think
spend 6 hours in the shower.
Openly a month ago.
Which is awesome.
I don't know if you all know, but I kind of have depression every now and then. So if I do take a self-love day, like, he understands, or he'll be like, well, let's go get ramen. Let's go do something that will make you happy. And then I'll be like, well, I think I just want to be alone today. Then he understands it and he's fine with it. I'm a weird person.
That's not weird. That's not weird at all. That sounds
I completely agree with you. I think that you know, being able to be by yourself or be content, you know, just doing your own thing is so important. You know?
Yeah, and
like,
it
even
took
though,
a lot.
yeah, and even though I'm a quality time person 100%, I do still see the value in being okay with you and not needing the other person.
Yeah.
And not, you know what I mean?
Because it took a lot, like, that's when I started working out on my own.
Yeah.
And we started working out together, but then, like, if he doesn't want to go, I'm fine to go by myself. And I didn't realize self-love for a really long time. Like, it took me a while. Like, maybe just, like, a couple months ago, I was just like, I can do this by myself. I do love who I am finally.
So someone can be selfish by demanding that they spend an inordinate, and the word inordinate is just going to depend on the relationship, amount of time in their hobby. But you are never selfish for needing to take time to self-care and self-love.
Yeah, no.
That is
never.
So please do that. JB says, Breeze a chatterbox today. Love it. Preach it, girl. Shark says, I have about 3 cosplay days out of 3 cosplay days out of the year. And Ulrich isn't always super cool with it, as I'll be with fans or just generally out of the house for more than 12 hours.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so how do you guys deal with that then, Shark? How do you communicate? Like, do you prep him beforehand? Like, hey, I'm going to be gone for a few days doing con stuff and everything. Like, how do you handle that?
I have found a lot of, on the just like a little self-love topic, and like you kind of brought it.
Yeah.
I have found that I absolutely love, and it is kind of falls in that self-love umbrella. Working out, like you mentioned, like I started doing my Fit Body Boot Camp, and I absolutely love it. That is like my me time.
Yeah, it's really
I've
chill.
Been meal prepping with Steve-O and I, and that's something that we also were kind of able to come together with, and incorporating like health together, and something that I was becoming more interested in and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
And Calvin, you work out.
I do.
Is that your self-love way, or?
Working out for me,
if you have a different self-love way, don't tell us in detail.
No.
I'm gonna throw up. No, I'm playing.
I'm joking.
No, self-love, like for me, you asking, is that my type of self-love? You know what? To me, working out, I just enjoy it. It's not necessarily self-love.
So it's like a hobby for you.
To me, well, I mean, I go with friends. I actually don't like working out by myself.
Okay.
It doesn't.
It can be social time for you.
It doesn't motivate me. Like, I'd rather be social in the gym with a buddy and, like, you know what, talking and doing the same thing, like doing whatever. Because to me, I feed off of other people.
Oh, yeah,
I always have.
You were definitely like the epitome of extrovert.
Like, I feed. I get lots of energy from everybody around me.
I'm similar in the way that, so like for example, like when we used to go to karaoke, if there were 2 of us there, I would get tired after 30 minutes, but if more people showed up, it would jazz me more and more up. Right. But like our friend Sam was exactly the opposite. The more people showed up, the more drained he got. And you know,
I used to be that way.
Yeah.
But you like never need an alone day.
Sometimes.
You do sometimes
Every
need
once
an
in a
alone
while,
day?
I absolutely do. Like, there's times, like, my brother's my best friend. We do a lot of stuff together. Like, we do a lot, and Sunday, to me, is dedicated to, like, family day.
Have you and your brother or you and your family ever come into conflict where you've been wanting to hobby or do something where they were like, hey, I'd like to see more.
I might make a suggestion, like, hey, like a day before, be like, hey, maybe we'll see a movie tomorrow, even though we saw one today. And, like, example today, he's like, hey, dude, do you want to go see that movie like you mentioned? I was like, you know what, dude? No, I just want to hang out at the house and play some games for a little. He's like, all right, no problem. Like, so, to me, like, it just all is communication. Like you're saying, it is literally, as long as you communicate, because I've been in poor communication relationships before where, you know, I tell them, I invite them over, open them to everything, and then they just were constantly forcing me to go to the opposite end of the world for them.
Oh, right.
And it was
all on their terms.
It was not a two-way street, and that's when I don't remember if you knew Lauren, but that's when that was.
Okay.
About 18 to 20, I was like a 3-year-old relationship, and it was just like constant, a one-sided relationship.
Would you say then that she was hyper-focused on hobby, and you were the one trying to get more quality time?
I would say just more time period. Because if I had an event going on because I was in school at the time, and I'd invite them to the event, they'd be like, no, I don't want to be around those people. Or no, I don't want to do this. Or no, I'm like, okay, well, this is who I am. You can't not be here
so this
because,
is like the support we were talking about earlier.
Right, exactly.
Even if you don't take part,
doesn't mean
being supported, feeling supported in it would have been.
And obviously that didn't work out.
Sure.
So, but no, being supportive is like, to me, it's big deal. Because like even with my friends, like I'm super supportive of as I can be to most of my friends.
Yeah.
You know.
Jumping into chat real quick, JB a few minutes ago said, Steve, Alicia and I were nodding away with you in complete agreement until you said 6 hours in the shower. And then several people seem to think that 6 hours in the shower is too much.
It is way too much for our water bill.
And
you take in a beer, you take in a Red Bull.
Shower beer. First off, bring a case if you want to get.
You need your shower brunch.
Shower brunch.
Get some wings.
That'd be great. That's right.
Your hands. Wings in the shower.
Wings in the shower.
And if you don't want to worry about paying for it, so you're saying water's expensive.
Yeah, water's expensive.
It's called gym membership, where they pay for it and you don't.
That's true. You can take all.
No one's showering at the gym. That's gross.
Showering at the gym.
Wait.
No, don't agree.
Hot tub at the gym.
Hot tub at the gym.
Yeah.
No.
Shark says I tell him to get over it. He's got months in advance to know I'm going out for con 3 to 4 days, and be passing out your bed. Yeah. So basically, it's just you have to accept that, and you set what that boundary is in that way. The presence of more people in a room deflects from Sam's attention, so he gets tired. Everyone's talking about love relationships, and I'm over here with my 2-year-old. Cass, how do you balance streaming with a child? That would be incredibly important to know.
Yeah.
Trex says he does his LARP multiple times a year, so me doing cosplay once a year for a few days is not so bad. Yeah, you are not bad for asking for that, Shark. Rip your water bill. Hey. I do rip it up as soon as it gets here.
As soon as it gets there,
fuck's out the window goes. So, what kind?
Shower shoes, or you get to fungus.
We've talked about
what type of shower you've been going. What type of shower you've been going to?
The shower funk.
So we talked about some different kinds of time-intensive hobbies. Gaming is one of them. You know, sitting down and playing a video game for 30 minutes. Sometimes you get through the opening cutscene.
Yep.
You know, 30 minutes.
That's like
depending on the game.
That's like not even one match in League.
Right. That's not a full match in League sometimes, depending on how it goes.
What?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
I've had a foot fungus before. It was terrible, says Dotus.
No.
I'm sorry.
Well,
and we talked about balancing.
Yeah. Me and Steve, one of the things that we do, just to try to help scheduling and all that, is we actually purchased a whiteboard that we physically write out our situation in the kitchen, and we add things on the calendar.
Oh yes, I've seen it. It's
and we that's how we have. That's like that's what keeps us functioning.
Some things that'll happen is friends or something will invite us to something, and we love being social, but we know that something is going to have to give either us time nights or stream time nights, and so a lot of times there's very rare, a lot of our streams during the week or during the day. So evening stuff, I guess Mondays, Thursdays, and Wednesdays are the evening streams. Most of the time when people want to do stuff, it's Friday night, Saturday, or Sunday. Yeah. Generally speaking.
Or every night for me.
Or every night if you're Cal. Okay. So we have that conversation, which is it's okay to decline a friend social invite if we need our us time. And there are times where we will forego, okay, this is going to be a busy weekend, so that means on Tuesday, or after the podcast on Monday, or even before the podcast, now we've, as work schedule has shifted, we've been able to add more time. So, when is it appropriate to decline a hobby activity? And when is it appropriate to decline a friend or something invite for your hobby? So there you can do both of those things, right?
Okay, so let's say you have something planned on a calendar that lots of people know about, okay, for your specific hobby. Let's say streaming, Steven. Mm-hmm. Then you can tell your friends, hey man, I've got something going to mom for like 2 hours. After that, I am totally free.
Right.
To me, that's a proper amount of communication. They're like, oh no, can you bail on it? No, I can't.
Yeah.
And telling somebody no, lots of people think it's very hard to say no to people. And that's the thing, is you have to learn to accept that if they're your friends, they'll understand.
Right. And there's there are times where I've had a friend say, hey, do you want to come hang out on Wednesday night? I have a stream that night. I can't. But if they say, do you want to hang out next Wednesday night? Oh, that's enough time for me to sort of like shift some stuff around.
Yeah.
Plan with Sarah, and figure that out. Or if, again, even with friends, like I can involve you. Well, why don't you come over and we game and stream together?
Right.
And if you're not into that, then, we can figure that out. But so I have declined things in favor of streaming.
Right.
But I have also
tried to.
But, you meet people halfway and you communicate. And like, sometimes Sarah will invite me to something. She'll go, hey, do you want to, just recently, she goes, do you want to, go to dinner? And I was like, I'm not really feeling the dinner thing, so I'm going to hang out at home, and I might stream.
Yeah.
And then she was like, well, for the record, it's actually important to me that you go. This isn't just a typical hangout. My parents are going to be there, and then I'm going to go wedding dress shopping after that. And now that I know what it means to you, yes,
of it.
Absolutely we'll do that. So that's what you need to do,
right? It's the significance of exactly.
It's essentially communication, but it's hard to just say communicate with each other because everybody communicates in different ways. So I'm trying to give you guys some sort of examples of how you can pinpoint specifics with each other.
I would say it's hard for me to balance Lauren.
Really?
Yeah, Lauren and I are really hard to balance each other, for sure. Yeah.
Have you guys, and again, you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to, but have you guys come to conflict over that?
I would say it bothered her a little bit.
Hey, Chance.
Like when I met Lauren before I met my boyfriend.
Right.
So Lauren was like always there for me. She was like my first real good friend. Like she took me to bars and to clubs like my first time. And I was always there. Like her and Peter were always there for me. And then I met my boyfriend. And then I stopped hanging out with her a little bit more. And I would say that's my fault. And then as we both have gotten older, though, she understands now. And I understand. And then now, even like today, like I wanted her to be here, but her back hurts.
Right.
And I get that. And I'm fine with that. And then sometimes, like last week, I wanted to hang out with her, but she was like, oh, well, I can't. I have to go do all this stuff with my family, or I work. And I'm like, okay, well, just tell your mom I said, hey.
Yeah.
Like, I would say Lauren and I have a really hard time balancing each other.
Right.
Like, when we come and see each other, and she's like, I haven't seen you, she legit means, like, we haven't seen each other in, like, 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
And we used to see each other at least 4 days out of the week.
Right.
So Chans, we're talking about balancing streaming and relationships. I want to know, because you and your husband, Viking Rex, both stream or have streamed. So can you, if you feel like it, let us in on how you guys balance those things with any quality time the other person may require. And Cass has input now. It's rough. So I have a schedule and made a very important rule. Never stream while my daughter is awake. She's my number one priority, so I want to be able to give her my undivided attention. And when she goes to bed at night, I get ready to stream, which explains why I stream so late. I appreciate Cass's overnight streams because I go to work at 2:30 a.m. and I can hang out and watch some Cowboys.
I appreciate those too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like I have that opposite schedule too.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when I do get up and streaming, it's always going to be at nighttime because during the day it just doesn't work. So it's always going to be a late night thing, and that's a good thing to have too.
Exactly. And she says I also stream on the 2 days that her dad can watch her. So it's tough, but I try to make it work. Fridays are reserved for her dad and I.
Awesome.
Okay, so yeah, so we've almost hit every sort of tip that you and I
for
wrote
sure.
down, which was like creating a set date night. And like, so, we know that Tuesday nights and Friday nights are us pretty much no matter what. Saturdays and Sundays can be us, but we sort of have those open for some social events.
Yeah.
And then if a social event comes up on any other day, then we'll carve out one of those other times when we can.
Like Sunday,
Sam and I...
Sunday,
Yeah, I
Sunday.
wouldn't say we have a set date. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Says, Sam and I do so much separate stuff from each other. Oh, I'm sorry, Bree. I was anticipating the end of your sentence. I fucked that up. I apologize.
Don't worry about it. It's fine, really.
What were you going to say?
I would say we include our friends a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's just because we're young. Like, I mean, I'm 23. He's 22.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, and then we're about to move in, like, with one of our best guy friends. So he's always there.
Yeah.
But it's never an issue. Like, he's, like, my best friend, too. So I enjoy having him there. And if we do go somewhere, it's everybody when we get off of work from Amazon, and then we're all like, hey, let's go bowl. Let's go do something fun. It's Friday.
Right.
And that's what we just go do.
Friday.
So,
and it's always a date to me. It doesn't ever feel like it's not.
Whenever you guys are together, that feels like quality time to you, even if other people are there.
Yeah.
And that's something else to communicate with your partner about, because sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, some people I know it doesn't.
There are times for Sarah where it does, but if we have other people there, I'm not giving her all of my attention because I'm partying.
Yeah.
He's in love with all the bromances.
And so
all his romances come out.
All the
and
bromances.
so she'll be like, hey, I mean, I know we've spent a lot of time with each other this week, but we've been doing stuff, so I would appreciate it if we could get some
alone
time. Yeah.
Yes.
That's very important, and that depends on the relationship. Sam and I do so much separate from each other that we don't usually have to decline stuff. He comes to what he wants to go to and passes on things he doesn't. And it's okay. It is okay to pass on things that you don't want to go to. Yep. If my mom invited us to brunch and Sarah was just like, I'm super tired and I need to sleep.
She's like, I hate cats.
That's fine.
No.
I absolutely understand that. Again, that's the self-care thing. And also, again, it depends on what you do.
JB's coming.
So if you're good doing your own thing, like Shark mentioned earlier, she and Ulfric will do two different things just in the same room, and they feel completely fulfilled.
That's awesome.
And that's awesome too. I think Steve-O and I will struggle when my baby arrives. Tenley, we need to talk. You're getting between me and my one true love. So
Tenley.
And JB, that is possible. We may struggle to find time for each other
for a little while, but that's okay.
I understand that you're going to have to do some focusing. There will come a time where I see you more. It's not that I'm never going to see you again. It's just that this thing happened. And I remember when I decided to stream more than once or twice a week, I sort of made an announcement on Facebook to my friends and family, and I was like, guys, I'm sort of going all in with trying to make this thing work. Yep. So if you want to see me, you're going to have to come stream with me. That's not literally the case, but that's, the mindset is just like, I want to see you and I still love you, but I have to do this thing because if I don't try and give it my all, I'm gonna hate myself later.
Yep.
I think Idget's play ahead.
Chanzelin says, it was actually tough, and part of the reason he stopped streaming is because he realized he wasn't spending much time with me much at all. But that was among other reasons. I balance it by making it during time frames that I know he's going to be hanging out with the boys, but we also dedicate one night a week to date night. Yep.
That's awesome.
Even when you're married, never stop dating.
I love that.
And a bunch of people are in that.
love that.
Grace is taking notes. We make it to a point to dress up and go out once a month because, sure, you can have date night by staying in, wearing PJs, and eating in, but taking time and effort once in a while to dress up for each other really helps the relationship going.
I love that, and I do agree with that.
Yeah, I agree too. And even you don't have to go out. Fernando and I don't go, just me walking downtown with him is enough.
Right.
And even just going to, this is weird. I love the library. It is my favorite place to go.
The bar?
No, the actual library.
The library.
Yes.
Okay.
The legit library, Steven.
Yeah.
Okay. People go there?
Where books are. And you learn.
Yeah.
And not get drunk.
Biblioteca.
I love to go to libraries. They're my favorite place to go. And I can just go and we can just spend time together there.
Yes, Texas.
I think it's fun. That's about it. I don't even think you need to. Actually, fun fact, my first date with my boyfriend was at the library, the bar.
Well, oh,
and I
funny.
did not even enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a terrible bar.
Yeah, he was like, we're going to have a
karaoke.
time.
That's
some decent karaoke.
That's a terrible bar.
I just am not a bar person.
Are you 20?
I almost got Calvin beat the shit out of at the library once.
There's just old
Do you remember
people
that
there.
story?
What?
This is what happened.
There's older people there.
Real quick story, and then
100%.
we actually, Sarah went around and got some video input from some people out in the community.
We also had
people in the wild.
Oh, and JB.
Yeah, we also have JB's as well.
JB is here and has given his input, and we'll get to that as well. I will tell this quick story though. We went to to the library. I went to the restroom and all the urinals were taken, and someone was in front of me, waiting for a urinal to be free. So I stood next to him, sort of behind him. We nodded at each other. Calvin walks in at the exact same time that someone is leaving a urinal, so he cuts in front of both of us and takes the urinal.
Oh, Lord.
And the dude looks at me and shrugs, and I said, who the fuck does that guy think he is? And that dude goes, I know. And I said, we should kick the shit out of him. And the guy stops for a second, and he goes, nah, I ain't going back to jail. And I was like, all right, that's fair. And then Calvin got up and left, and I went out and I was like, dude, I almost got this dude to beat the shit out of you.
No, dude.
Who fucked that, babe? Has he been in jail? He has to contemplate his life for a moment?
He really did sit there and say, I'm not going back today.
I can 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah, the we nodded at each other got me too. I was like, wow, men nod at each other when they go to the bathrooms.
And that's the thing, they were standing around, and if you got to use the restroom, well,
okay.
you know,
the nod.
Women are just like, oh, are you in line? And they're like, yeah, okay.
I mean, it wasn't. We didn't like do like a full like. Hello, sir.
You're waiting in line.
We just like acknowledged each other, like I not acknowledged.
The bathroom nod.
Yeah.
Okay.
From now on, now I know. Now I know.
We'll just look at each other like this. And
There's a lot of non-verbal man law. That's right.
So JB wrote like a manifesto here. It says Alicia doesn't care for gaming at all. In fact, she specifically wanted to avoid dating gamers before we started dating. And to this date, she doesn't much care for gaming any more than she had at the beginning. At times, however, she will embrace gaming a bit, play with me, or watch, or participate on Twitch, but for the most part, this is my hobby to enjoy. She knows it's part of how I interact with my friends and how I find some enjoyment out of some of my free time. But it is also not my only hobby, and to her, I know that's also important. I like martial arts, two-step dancing, karaoke, football, etc., which rounds me out as a person. So when I do game, it's not like disruptive of our relationship, usually. A pause right here. I do want to point out that it is okay for you to have one hobby. If there's one thing you like to do as an adult and you know that's the thing that you love doing, you can go all in on that as long as you're doing the communicating and stuff and you're taking good self-care and everything like that. You don't have to have multiple hobbies. I'm not saying that's what JB was saying. I just wanted to make it a point so we don't misconstrue something that it's not, you don't have to have 3 or 4 or 5 hobbies to be a well-rounded person.
Yeah, no.
So if you love the thing, I would say as a child, exposing them to multiple options is important.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But that is the point that I wanted to make there. There are times when I get a brand new game and get really deep into it, sucking up a lot of my time, which usually leads to me neglecting her or my responsibilities, or even myself. So at these times, she can lose her patience with me, and I understand that. Because you see, gaming, like any hobby, should only be part of your life, however big or small it is. If you want friends and relationships, which I would assume most people do, you need to invest in them as well. And that's, I don't disagree with that, but people will require different things in different relationships. And that's what's super important is to, every person that you come across is going to be different and feel a different way about different things.
Yeah.
And if you are fulfilled by just supporting each other's interests and like doing your thing like you guys do, that's fantastic. And if you I need a little more you time, that's okay to ask for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're not allowed to do that hobby is not okay.
Yeah, that's not okay at all.
Right. I'm going to skip ahead. There's great stuff here, JB, just for time's sake. In the last few years, the amount of gaming I have done has dropped quite a bit. And in the end, all of this is simply to say that Alicia knows I enjoy gaming. She'll always be fine with me doing it so long as we make compromises. And obviously, things will change when the baby is born. But it's about communication, not shirking your responsibilities.
Absolutely.
And don't expect, this is the last thing I'll say before we get to the video, don't expect anybody to know or act or do a certain way. Even if you think it's common sense, you have to tell them what you need.
Yeah.
And if you don't tell them what you need, then that's your responsibility.
I guess that would be a thing we struggle with. Like, my boyfriend has a problem with saying, what he wants from me.
Really?
Yeah. And, but I will say, the thing we struggle the most on is being so alike. When he wants to go get a video game that I want, and then he wants to beat it before me. That's what's tough. That is what's tough for us. So I'm just I wanted that. Why would you go get that before me?
I thought your Switch story was cute. Do you want to tell that?
Oh, gosh. Okay, y'all. So, for Christmas, I'm a bougie girlfriend, so I was going to get my boyfriend a Switch. And we found out at Thanksgiving, he was telling his mom, she was like, what are you going to get your girlfriend? He was like, oh, I'm going to get her the Switch. And so I was like, wait, I was going to get you the Switch. And then he was like, so are we going to get each other the Switch? And I was like, we don't need 2 Switches. And he was like, how do you know that? And I was like, no, I know we don't. We're halving it. We're halving the Switch. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, I'm telling you, we are so involved in what we like. It's just too much.
JB says, when typing that up, I knew you were going to make that point.
Oh, yeah.
When I read it, I knew you knew. I knew you knew, JB.
And It Just Play mentions the love language situation, which we did touch on earlier.
And that was one of the things we mentioned earlier. Yes. And just look them up. Just look up the love languages. It may not be entirely complete, and you may be 1 or 2 of those things, but learning how you feel and express love. So Sarah is a quality time person. She feels loved by people spending time with her that is about her, but she shows love usually with gifts. She sees things and she just gets shit for people. Yeah.
Lauren is.
I'm like, I always see things, and I think of that person, and like I'll get it.
I do that too.
And
I see things that I know people will like, and I'll give it to them.
And then it makes me happy to give it to them, and they get happy, and then I feel fulfilled. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Jeff, have you been here this whole time?
Agrees. It is about communication, says
Hello,
Snowbeard.
Snowbeard.
Yeah. Hello, Breeze Dad.
Have you been here this whole time? But that's the only time.
That's Breeze Dad.
I'm offended.
Oh, hello.
Dota says, but I didn't know. I only knew you know I knew. Did you know that?
Oh,
fantastic.
I like that.
So guys, we're going to get to the video that we made, put together by Nerdes.
I did put this together. I hit up a few different streamer couples just to kind of get their input and people that, I personally kind of have looked up to in the streaming world and just in a couple world as well. So we're going to kind of tune into them now.
All right, guys, enjoy, and then we'll do fan can.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's times that we've had to discuss the balance.
Yeah, I think we've actually recently done a change in our thinking and our scheduling where the time that we spent together was always the variable or what we were going to compromise on. I think something that we've changed recently is that previously, the time that we spent together, that was always something that we were willing to move or rearrange if something else came up. So if a podcast thing came up or spending time with our friends came up, we're like, well, we can do this another time. But we've actually decided that we need to, if there's something we want to do, we're going to set that and work everything around our date.
Right.
Or our plan together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that we've recently decided to do.
Yeah, and I mean, we didn't have a lot of conflict in that area.
No.
And I think one of the things major, too, that we found, I mean, it's just, this goes with relationships in general or working partners or anything like that, just having the conversation without the emotion, right? So we just go, okay, well, we both know we're on the same page that we want to spend the time together. We're not looking to avoid time together or anything like that.
Right.
And just say, well, have a meaningful, is this time too much? Let's make the time for each other and what we want to do.
Right.
Making that remembering that that's really important.
Right. Like talking about it before you become irritated or upset by it, I think is really key to being able to figure out a solution.
Right, absolutely.
As if you're feeling like you're not getting the time that you need with your partner, talking about it before it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
And there's less emotion involved
And just like try to be as understanding as you can about it, because if the person's bringing it up, they're bringing it up because, and whoever's bringing it up in the relationship, they're doing so because it's most likely from a place of wanting to spend time and love and compassion.
It's not that they want you to not do...
Yeah, don't have fun.
Right.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
They don't want you to stop your streaming or your podcast or whatever it is that you're doing. They want to be able to have that, but they also want to be able to spend time with you. And it hasn't become a problem for us, but I think that we have definitely wanted to spend more time together and making that the priority and moving things around that instead of moving our time together around everything else that's going on has kind of become something that we've been trying to keep in our mind and really recognize that shouldn't be the thing that we're willing to compromise on. Well, the other things should be something that we can
things
around.
Can bend. Things, that's the thing. People kind of forget that people can be understanding. Things can bend. It's when you get to that point when you're angry and it becomes about breaking and stopping or, then that's, you get there ahead of time.
Yeah.
Cut it off at the pass.
Well, and I also think that we're really lucky in our situation that we have hobbies that are kind of solitary hobbies. When he's gaming or podcasting, I read a lot, I sew, I knit. Those are things that don't really involve other people. So I think we're lucky that our hobbies that we have, we can do those separate, and we can still be happy doing those. And one of my biggest hobbies is knitting, and I can knit while he plays video games, or we can watch a movie together and I can still be knitting.
Yeah.
And I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing though that I think it's really important is to not cast yourself or cast the other person as your sidekick. Both people need to be full cups and full partners in it. You're a crime-fighting duo. You're not Batman and Robin. You're both on equal level. So it's important to remember that. Because that can easily be forgotten, I think.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, well, first of all, we've definitely had, our issues with it. We've had to make sure that we communicate and tell each other that, we need time when we need time. I think that getting a schedule down can help a lot, whether it be like this day is devoted to us, or we plan on doing, things together on these days, whether they're, date nights or just, sometimes you need socialization with your friends. They don't have to be a date night, but you guys have to be a committed couple during that time. Finding a schedule that works for you, I definitely think is super important.
Yeah, and I kind of know what nights I should expect him to do podcasting, and I try to plan my podcasting around his podcasting so we don't run into conflict. With that, we have run into conflict before about, I just felt that I wasn't seeing him, and it wasn't just podcasting, it was everything. He's a very committed person, and so we had to institute a date night where I said, okay, we need to take this time for us, and once a week we sit down and we have conversations with each other, what's going on in our lives, and we use that opportunity to reconnect with each other, put the cell phones to the side so we're not distracted by those. So we do have once a week that we're able to really sit down and reconnect with each other and have that moment. But
yeah, I think you've probably heard Nick and Kitten by now, and what they had to say was bullshit. They were saying stuff like, we have solitary things. That's crap, When you have a commitment, you have to realize your partner's in that commitment with you. Mm-hmm. And, just because you have time that you commit, you don't realize you're actually committing something of their time too when you do that. So you have to be very aware of that, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, when we go out to spend time with friends, we do it together. We don't do this separate nonsense. Right. We go play D&D together. We do that typically a couple nights a week. So there's still some together time while we're spending time with friends. And
oh yeah.
No, but seriously. We are very fortunate in the fact that many of the things that we enjoy doing together, and that's why we are able to go and have these events together. We do have some of our separate things. I knit. There again, just as Kitten said earlier, we're able to knit and be present while our spouse is doing other things, so watching shows, etc. We're able to do that. So that's one way in which I can do some of my craft and be present in the moment as well. But just that luck and fortune that we are able to find things to connect with that can take us out of our into our friend zone, into our friendship sphere. And yeah.
But I do want to bring up a point. I know Nick and I feel very strongly that Red 6 isn't us. It is, Gal, Kitten, Nick, myself. It will never be a great product if we don't have the support from Gal and Kitten, which they are amazing at supporting us. So we do, even though it is something that is isolated, we very much do need their support. And have to recognize, like Nick said, you have to recognize when they are asking you for something, you don't understand necessarily everything they give to make that thing happen. So really listen.
Hey Sam, Sarah asked us to talk about how you balance gaming and your personal life.
I think it's important to remember that gaming is just another pastime. For you, your pastimes are playing piano, playing with your cats, and, looking at stupid stuff on Facebook. For me, it's gaming. So having a significant other or other person in your life that understands that is really important. But second to that is just remembering that it comes second to them, and taking time to make sure that they know that. I take breaks whenever I can, especially like during long loading screens, to go say hi to Whitney if she's in the other room and just make sure she knows that I haven't forgotten about her.
That's fair.
We're doing this with dog faces on, by the way, because Whitney's not wearing makeup. Another thing I would say is, instead of having to balance one against the other, make the two the same thing. Game together, spend time together, and game at the same time. And if you can do that, I think it takes a lot of stress off of the relationship and the balance. But all of that said, I also want to say, if you want to game, then game. Don't let anybody give you a hard time about it just because you spend 5 hours a day gaming. That's no different from them spending 2 hours looking on Facebook. And 1 hour playing with cats. And 2 hours playing piano. It all amounts to the same thing. It's just I do one thing with all of my time and you do a couple different things with all your time. Yeah, them. Also, check this out. You're doing a bad job, Whitney. You have anything you want to say?
Just that you are always right and I am wrong, and your decisions are the best. I can't say anything to the contrary.
Well said. Hey, for once you were right.
Hey guys, I'm here to speak for Grace and I's relationship, and in terms of how we balance it with streaming and just our daily lives and hobbies that go along with it. Grace and I have an interesting relationship in the fact that we have been long distance for the entirety of it up to right now. All 3 years, in fact. So that brings challenges along with it, as you might expect. Along the way, we've had to battle lots of things that a lot of couples don't have to deal with, but the biggest thing that we've really came down to is communication is the most important thing between us. So we always make sure that we are communicating throughout the day, whether that be talking, via Skype, texting, or whatever we can do. If we can help each other on homework or getting through tough days, we try to value that before anything else. Going along with streaming itself and our hobbies like gaming and other things, when we first had started streaming, we really wanted to, grind out every day. It sounded awesome, but then we kind of had to take a step back and realize, well, we don't get to spend every day together like a normal couple, so the time that we do have together is valuable. So really, we had to cut down on our streams and realize, at the end of the day, our relationship is what matters, and Twitch and gaming are hobbies. So that was a struggle, but we've made what we think is a balance in our life right now. Also, when we do get to stream, we make sure to, try to jump into each other's streams, because that is a valuable time for us as a long distance couple to communicate. I know it sounds silly, but couples who spend every day together, streaming might seem like something that pulls them apart, but at times streaming actually sometimes pulls me and Grace together, which is really, really cool. And I think it's really helped in some ways for that. Also, just the last point is, when we do get together, we make sure that we balance our lives by saying, you know what, we game every day, we stream weekly if we can, and we need to take a break from that. So when we're together, we just try to spend valuable time together. We don't do many of our hobbies because we just want to be together. So I know me and Grace come from a very different perspective, but it's been a lot of struggle, but it's all been worth it, and we've kind of made this balance work as best as we can with the situation we're in. So I know Grace and I are very appreciative of you guys for inviting us and our opinion on this, and we can't wait to see what everyone else says on it. See you guys.
Such an audience.
Yeah.
Caleb, go away.
Yeah, Caleb,
You
like,
make me nervous.
we see your face and it makes us angry.
That was everybody's input.
Yeah.
Did you think good points?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I thought all of the videos were amazing, and thank you guys so much for participating and making the videos, or writing something up for us to read. It's definitely been very helpful, and I think it's been a good tool to kind of get different people's perspectives on the situation and whatnot, and hopefully, it could give some people ideas and different ways that might be able to help balance out some things.
100%. Well, the last thing that we do before we call it night is we go to the fan can. If you guys want to add a question to the fan can, you can tweet us at @GoToNerds using the hashtag FanCan. Just ask us anything. We'll put it in. We'll draw one at the end of the podcast. You can also redeem nerd credit if you're watching us live on Twitch. There's a little icon right about there, somewhere right around there, and you can click it and redeem your points that you've earned from watching other stuff. So you want to pull one out, Sarah, since having you on a podcast is a rare occasion. So
Sure.
I want to read.
Let's see what we got.
Okay.
What?
This is DMC.
What's that?
Dante.
DMC Dante or classic Dante?
Could care less.
What do you mean could care less?
Who gives a shit?
I really like classic Dante. He was just really good.
Really thought you were going to say DMC Dante.
No.
He seems way more Tom Holland-y.
I know, right? No. I love the original,
Right?
though. He's so great.
I'm all about DMC Dante.
I knew you were gonna
When
say
Ninja Theory rebooted Devil May Cry, I'm good with. They could have done absolutely nothing.
I just really
with
liked his white hair. I'm a white hair
Well, he gets it in DMC.
I know, but
he earns
I just really
it.
like it. He's just really cool in the other ones. He's just Woo.
Thank you, Shepherd Tone.
Yeah,
thank you, Tone.
Dad's with me.
Classic. I was like, Ninja Theory did a way better DMC than Capcom ever did. There, I said it. Sorry.
Probably.
Wow.
So-
Hating on my Capcom.
I love Devil May Cry, but I just when DMC came out, I was like, oh, this is the future of the franchise, and then they're abandoning it to go back to classic, which is really frustrating to me.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know even what or who.
That's what I said. I've never played
is.
any of the games.
I don't
so.
know what that is. I'm gonna be straight up.
Okay.
So
Tell you
Dante's
what.
from Devil May Cry. It's a really good game.
Okay.
And then, fun fact, the people who made Castlevania is also making the anime adaptation on Netflix.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's classic Dante, like here and here, right?
Really
Okay.
cool.
So do you prefer that guy?
I'm gonna look at these two.
I
or
do agree that it got a lot of hate
would you
that it
see-
didn't need. I liked it.
I got a picture of a shoe.
This Dante.
Did you put DM?
Wait,
Especially
you
left or
didn't
right.
put Devil May Cry.
I like the right one.
Yep, DMC Dante.
Well, see,
There it is, right here.
I feel like
Is that
he's like
left and right. So
DMC did get a lot of hate for no reason, and it was a way better game.
no. Yeah.
So good. But he earns. Oh, the story's so good. The acting is pretty decent, and like it even sort of fits with canon if you do a little bit of mental gymnastics. Like it all like you can
I
go
think I'm just
DMC
more a
and then play
nostalgic
3 and then
person,
1 and
though,
it,
with those games.
yeah.
Yeah. Same with like Bayonetta.
Well, so Devil May Cry was a lot harder than DMC. So
Yeah.
DMC was more like an accessible sort of God of War-y kind of a thing, and Devil May Cry was definitely more of that like precursor to Dark Souls, beat your ass, like you have to get really good at this game,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Shepard, thanks for coming by, and thank you for the host, man. We really appreciate it, and everybody that contributed, and you guys for being here. This was awesome, Nerdez. Thank you for everything and producing the shit out of this episode, by the way. So we have one more podcast left in season 2. It's going to be next week, and then the week after that is game night for December, and then we're off until season 3. So next week we're going to talk about a little bit about Game of the Year, and we're going to talk about a holiday giving gift guide.
In
So
our
just
opinion?
like
Game of the Year in our opinion?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, just our what we think should be Game of the Year. We'll talk a little
Legal
bit about that. And we'll do some holiday gift guiding things. So if you have nerds in your life, or if you are a nerd in life, what would maybe be some great holiday gifts or something for you guys. And then we'll fill you in on what's going to happen over the holidays. And then season 3 comes back in January. We still have the game streams, though. Those aren't stopping.
Yeah.
Just the podcast. We're going to be off for Christmas Eve, and we're going to be off for New Year's Eve, and we have...
I'll be probably working those anyways.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Nice.
Nice.
I might be working
I will
on Christmas this year.
I'll be working Eves and Christmas. It's going to be shit.
It's the only day Amazon gives us off besides New Year's Day.
Of course, Dave, of course. We're more than happy to have you on it. Thanks for participating.
Oh, Gracie, Sports Noodle. Yeah, we will do maybe possibly the final Sports Noodle this Wednesday, where I will wrap up the regular season and prep you guys for the postseason.
Final Sports Noodle.
And I love it. And so we'll wrap the regular season of our Good Noodle Gang Fantasy Football League ends tonight, and then we have 2 weeks of playoffs, and the winner will get a trophy. So Sports Noodle will be Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Central. So I love you guys, and we'll see you next week. My name is Steven.
Sarah.
Calvin.
Bree.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.